Princess Aratha sat alone on the marble bench in the royal courtyard, her slender fingers tracing the carved patterns of ivy and vines. The two suns of Virelia, Sikra, and Nylon hung low in the sky, casting long gold and emerald shadows across the polished stone. Every morning she rose before dawn to seek the quiet hush of the courtyard, where she could think without courtly duties crowding her mind. Though she wore the crown of her ancestors and carried the hopes of her people, Aratha felt invisible, beneath her own skin. Her green complexion, the very mark of Virelian royalty, was something she could not embrace. She saw only flaws, the darker pigment along her cheekbones, the slight unevenness of her skin where sunlight did not kiss her. She believed these features made her less lovely, unworthy of admiration or love. Each time she passed a polished column or glanced at a smooth, reflective window, she searched for proof of her ugliness, and each time she recoiled from the face that stared back. Still, Aratha lived a life of gentle service. She met with advisors about crop cycles and water rights. She spoke with artists who painted murals in the grand palace halls. She comforted children from nearby villages and listened to their dreams under the great oak tree behind the throne room. In every meeting, faces lit with respect and gratitude. Yet despite their kind words, Aratha could not allow herself to believe them. Before the court awoke, she slipped away to the royal greenhouse. There, among luminescent flowers and twisting vines, she felt a trace of peace. The petals glowed in soft blues and violets, stark against the rich green of her skin. She tended to each plant with care, whispering names learned when she was a girl. To her amazement, the flowers responded, opening toward her hands as if they recognized her gentle heart. In that sacred silence, Aratha allowed herself to believe she might be of some worth. Meanwhile, in a starship that glided through the Virelian atmosphere, Lieutenant Maya Reyes prepared for her first mission beyond Earth. Maya was young but driven, chosen as a junior diplomat in the Human Council's new initiative of interplanetary friendship. She left behind her home city's gray towers and the hum of grav cars, eager for the bright colors of the unknown. News of Virelia's peaceful society and wondrous flora had traveled across light years, and Maya dreamed of studying alien plants and customs. When the shuttle docked at the crystal spire of the Virelian palace, Maya's heart pounded with excitement. She stepped onto the polished floor, her boots clicking on the marble. She wore a simple white uniform with the Earth emblem on her shoulder. The assembly of courtiers and aides bowed in polite welcome, their garments woven in green and gold threads. Maya inclined her head in return, offering a warm smile she hoped would bridge any gaps between their worlds. Guards led Maya through wide halls lined with living tapestries of moss and flower. Soft light filtered through stained glass domes, coloring the air in shades of dawn. She marveled at every detail, the curve of each arch, the scent of blooming orchids drifting on gentle breezes, the distant voice of water spilling into a hidden fountain. Maya felt both small and wondrously alive. Word reached Aratha that a human diplomat wished to observe the royal gardens. The princess rose from her bench, smoothing the folds of her gown, and walked through a hidden corridor to the greenhouse. Her heart fluttered with nerves. She had never spoken with a human. She wondered if they would find her strange, or worse, ugly. She tried to still her racing thoughts with memories of the plants she loved. As Aratha opened the greenhouse door, a soft breeze carried the scent of night-blooming jasmines. She saw the human woman kneeling beside a cluster of violet lantern flowers, her dark hair caught in the glow of bioluminescent petals. The woman studied a scroll of notes, her brow furrowed in concentration. Aratha paused, watching the visitors, quiet wonder. Maya looked up at the rustle of fabric. She turned and saw Aratha standing in the doorway. The princess's green skin shimmered in the moonlight, soft and warm like the petals around her. Maya felt a sudden rush of admiration. She rose to her feet and offered a bow. "Welcome," Maya said in gentle tones. "I hope I'm not disturbing your work. These flowers are unlike anything I have ever seen." Aratha's throat tightened. Her voice felt small. "You may study as you like," she managed, stepping aside. Her skirt brushed against a stand of glowing lilies, and she winced. She expected Maya's eyes to flick away, to find the princess odd or unworthy of attention. Instead, Maya smiled and took a careful step forward, studying Aretha's face as she might study a rare bloom. "They say Virelians glow like these plants," Maya whispered, as if revealing a cherished secret. But I did not believe it until now. The words struck Aretha like a soft breeze. She swallowed hard. I am not so bright," she said, quietly. Maya shook her head. She crossed the tiled floor and reached out to gently touch a lantern flower. Its petals opened at her fingertips, spilling pale light into Maya's palm. "The glow comes from this gentle place," Maya said. "But your skin shines from something deeper, a kindness and strength no one else can match." For a moment, Aretha's breath caught. She did not know how to respond. She had never been praised like this. The courtiers had always spoken respectfully, but never so plainly and warmly. She found herself drawn to Maya's calm eyes, full of genuine wonder. I am Aretha," the princess whispered at last, stepping closer. She looked at the human diplomat's face, studying the kindness etched there. In that moment she dared to stand tall. "Maya Reyes," the diplomat replied, offering her hand. Their fingers brushed as they shook. Aretha felt a current of warmth spread through her. A single compliment from this stranger had opened something deep inside her heart. Maya glanced around the greenhouse again. "There is so much I wish to learn," she said. "Will you teach me the names of these flowers, and of others in your gardens?" Aretha's lips curved in a small, genuine smile, the first in a very long time. She nodded. "I would be honored." As the night deepened, the two women walked among glowing blossoms. Aretha spoke the names of each plant in soft tones, and Maya repeated them with care. The princess felt a spark of hope kindling in her chest. Perhaps her own uniqueness was not something to hide. Perhaps it was something to share. Above them, the twin moons rose, casting silver patterns on the glass domes. Beneath their light, Aretha dared to imagine a future where she stood not in shadows, but in the bright wonder of her own life, and where a simple human diplomat could help her see what she had long denied, that she was, in fact, beautiful. When the first violet lantern flowers closed beneath the fading light of Virelia's twin moons, Aretha and Maya returned to the royal greenhouse. A soft breeze from the open vents stirred the petals of night-blooming orchids, and the air was rich with their sweet fragrance. Every evening, the princess waited by the carved stone bench, heart fluttering with anticipation. Maya arrived exactly as promised, her white uniform replaced by a simple silver tunic that caught the lunar glow. She carried a small data pad and a folded sketchbook, eager to record every discovery. Aretha stepped aside to let her in, brushing a loose strand of hair behind her pointed ear. She felt a thrill at the sight of Maya's bright, curious eyes. "Good evening, Princess," Maya said with a warm smile. "I've been looking forward to our lesson." Aretha nodded and led Maya past rows of glowing lilies, their pale light pooling at their bases like lanterns on stone. She paused before a vine of midnight jasmine, its star-shaped blossoms opening in perfect silence. "This is Nerathia jasminis," Aretha began in her soft voice. "It blooms only under our moons. The scent helps soothe restless minds." Maya inhaled deeply and nodded, eyes closed. "It is lovely," she murmured. She glanced up at Aretha. "Just like you." Aretha's breath caught. "Maya, please." She hurried onto a cluster of creeping turquoise moss that carpeted a low stone wall. "This is Lysora moss. It grows on our ancient walls and glows faintly in moonlight." Maya crouched beside the moss and gently touched its soft strands. "It feels like velvet," she whispered. She tapped a few notes into her datapad, then looked back at Aretha. "Your people have such wonder here." Aretha's chest swelled with pride, mingled with a shy warmth at Maya's praise. She let her guard slip, allowing herself to believe that maybe she, too, was part of that wonder. As they moved deeper into the garden, the vines overhead formed a natural arch dotted with bioluminescent flowers. Their light played across Maya's dark skin and Aretha's green complexion, weaving a tapestry of color that seemed almost magical. Tell me more about this arch, Maya said, tilting her head upward. Aratha smiled and pointed to tiny buds that looked like pale stars. These are Velora star saplings. They bloom only when 2 moons share the sky. Our ancestors believed they carried messages from the stars. Maya's eyes lit up. Messages? What kind of messages? Aratha paused, gazing at the delicate blooms. Stories of courage, hope, and unity. When they opened, the elders would read their shape and glow to guide the people during times of need. Maya leaned closer, her face thoughtful. Like your people's history is written in flowers. Aratha nodded. Each bloom tells a small part of our story. She swallowed, then added, I used to think our stories did not include someone like me. Maya straightened. Why would you ever think that? Aratha hesitated, then touched her cheek. Because when I look at my skin, I see only differences. I thought my green made me odd, unfit to be part of our own tales. Maya closed the distance between them and placed a gentle hand on Aratha's shoulder. Princess, your green skin is part of those stories. It is a sign of who you are. Strong, wise, and unique. Without you, the tales would be incomplete. Aratha's heart beat in her throat. She dared to look at Maya's face, so steady and kind. She saw no pity there, only respect and admiration. A warmth spread through her chest, melting away shadows she had carried for years. They walked on in silence, passing a small fountain fed by underground springs. Water gurgled softly, its surface lit by submerged blue petals that glowed like scattered sapphires. Maya knelt by the fountain's edge and reached into the cool water, lifting a petal and letting it drift back with a ripple. Aratha joined her at the edge. These flowers are called Xynthia tears, she whispered. Legend says they heal broken hearts. Maya looked up, her eyes bright. Then I think our hearts are healing together. A breeze carried distant voices from the palace corridors, advisors discussing crop forecasts, gardeners tending to other beds. The world outside the greenhouse felt distant and formal compared to this secret realm of blooms and soft light. Tell me about your home, Aratha said suddenly. She wanted to return the favor, to learn of Maya's life among Earth's gray towers and humming machines. Maya's eyes brightened. I come from New Boston, on Earth. It is a city of steel and glass where people chase the sunrise every day. We have parks with green trees, but they pale compared to these gardens. She smiled wistfully. I studied botany there, but only in labs under artificial lights. Aratha gestured to the living tapestry of vines. Here, nature is part of our very walls. Maya nodded. You are lucky. She paused, then looked at Aratha with curiosity. Do you ever regret being royal? Aratha's smile faded. Sometimes. Royal duties keep me in marble halls while I long to walk among common people. I wish I could just be free to learn and grow without expectation. Maya studied her face. I think freedom comes from inside. You carry freedom in your heart, princess. Aratha's eyes shone. You make it sound easy. Maya reached out and tucked a loose tendril of jasmine behind Aratha's ear. It becomes easier with a friend to remind you of your worth. Their hands lingered together for a heartbeat. Aratha felt a gentle surge of courage. She tilted her head and let Maya's touch rest. In that moment she felt seen, understood and valued. The greenhouse vents closed as the last moon sank behind distant peaks, and the soft glow of flowers dimmed. Aratha and Maya walked back toward the entrance. Aratha's steps were lighter than when she had entered. Thank you, Maya, she said quietly. Maya placed a hand over her heart. Thank you, princess, for sharing your world with me. They reached the heavy glass doors. Aratha paused, then took Maya's hand in both of hers. Will you come again tomorrow? Maya squeezed her hand. I will be here. Aratha watched as Maya's figure disappeared into the palace corridors. Alone now, she pressed her palms to her cheeks. The touch felt different, no longer strange or unwelcome, but warm and living. She looked back at the glowing blooms, remembering how they had opened for Maya's touch. She realized that she too could open, to friendship, to confidence, to acceptance. That night, beneath Virelia's muted sky, Aratha let a small, genuine smile curl her lips. The seeds of trust and hope had been sown in her heart, and with each passing evening, they would grow stronger, just like the hidden flowers in the moonlit garden. Each day at dusk, Princess Aratha hurried to the royal greenhouse, her heart light with hope. Tonight the air was warm, and the glass panes trapped a rich scent of jasmine and moss. Aratha found Lieutenant Maya Reyes already waiting by the ivy-covered wall, datapad in hand and bright eyes shining with curiosity. "Good evening, Princess," Maya greeted, rising to meet her. "I brought sketches of yesterday's flowers. Would you like to see them?" Aratha nodded and guided Maya past a row of glowing orchids. The petals pulsed in a slow rhythm like soft breathing. Maya unrolled her sketchbook and showed careful drawings of lantern flowers, star saplings, and moss. Each bloom was rendered with precise lines and gentle shading. "These are beautiful," Aratha said, tracing a sketch with her fingertip. "You captured their light." Maya blushed. "Only because you taught me their true names. The art of your people is in every bloom." They wandered deeper into the garden, where a low fountain held floating petals of Xynthia tears. The water glimmered blue under hidden lights. Aratha paused by the fountain's edge. "Tell me again why these flowers heal broken hearts," Maya asked. Aratha smiled softly. "Long ago, a queen lost her daughter. She placed tears in water and watched the petals glow until her grief eased. Now we say the bloom shows us that sorrow can become beauty." Maya knelt and touched the water. "It feels peaceful." She looked up at Aratha. "And you, your presence here brings peace to me." Aratha's cheeks warmed. She bowed her head. "Thank you, Maya." A distant echo of voices drifted in. The royal council meeting in the grand hall. Aratha felt a tight knot in her chest. She knew Earth's delegates would press for trade rights, and Virelia's elders worried about losing control of their planet's resources. Maya noticed Aratha's, "Is everything all right?" Aratha took a deep breath. "The council meets tomorrow. They worry that Earth might take more than we can give. I fear it could harm our alliance." Maya placed a gentle hand on Aratha's arm. "You have a gift for words and wisdom, Princess. You helped these plants grow. Now help them trust us." Aratha nodded, comforted by Maya's faith. She steadied her voice. "With your help, I will speak for Virelia's heart. But I am not ready to do it alone." Maya smiled. "You will not be alone." She closed her datapad. "Let us prepare together." They spent the next hour practicing a speech. Aratha spoke of unity, of shared knowledge, and of respect for Virelia's sacred gardens. Maya offered gentle corrections, turning long phrases into clear sentences. Aratha's confidence grew with each read-through. When the moons had set and the greenhouse glowed faintly, Maya stood. "Rest now, tomorrow is important." Aratha reached out and clasped Maya's hand. "Thank you, my friend. You helped me find strength." Maya squeezed her hand. "And you helped me discover wonder." The next morning, Aratha walked into the Grand Council chamber with steady steps. Courtiers and elders filled tall benches carved of white stone. At the center rose a circular dais where Earth's ambassador, Tarun Sethi, stood beside Maya in her uniform. Tension hummed in the air. Aratha took a deep breath. She recalled Maya's words and the soft glow of the garden. As she stepped onto the dais, all eyes turned to her green-skinned figure, a sight she once feared would bring whispers of doubt. She lifted her head. "Honored elders of Virelia, esteemed ambassador from Earth, and dear Maya," she began, voice clear. "We gather at a moment of hope. Our peoples stand on the brink of new friendship. We must choose trust over fear." In the hush, she spoke of Virelia's history, how her people cherished balance with their land, how the twin moons taught them to grow with patience. She described Earth's urgent need to learn from Virelia's harmony, and Virelia's chance to share its wisdom in return. Murmurs rose among the elders. One asked, "Princess, how can we be sure Earth will not plunder our world once they know its secrets?" Aretha met his gaze steadily. "Because Earth's ambassador stands here ready to offer partnership, not conquest. I have walked in the greenhouse with her. I saw her respect every bloom, treat each with care. This respect is the seed of our alliance." Maya stepped forward, voice calm. "I promise on Earth's behalf that we will honor your laws and protect your lands. We ask only to learn and to share knowledge that benefits us all." A hush fell over the chamber. Then Elder Veshra rose, her silver hair braided with ivy. "Your words ring true, Princess. Trust grows when it is shown, not demanded. Let our peoples walk together." Aretha felt relief and pride wash through her. The elders bowed their heads in assent. Maya's eyes glistened with tears of joy. That evening, the greenhouse buzzed with a quiet celebration. Virelian gardeners and human envoys mingled among the glowing flowers, exchanging seeds and stories. Maya showed Aratha a cluster of earth orchids she had brought, their petals pale against Virelia's vivid blooms. Aratha looked at the orchids with wonder. "I would never have known these flowers without you." Maya grinned. "And I would never have found my confidence without you." She held out a small clay pot. "This is a seed from Earth. Will you plant it in your royal garden?" Aratha accepted the pot with reverence. "I will, and I will remember your kindness every time it blooms." They walked together to the fountain of Xynthia tears. Aretha tipped the pot, releasing the seeds into the cool water. The petals drifted in ripples like moonlight on glass. "May our friendship grow as these seeds do," Aretha whispered. Maya nodded, eyes shining. "Together, we will help both our worlds blossom." Around them, flowers glowed softly, as if celebrating the new bond between a green-skinned princess and a human diplomat. In that shared moment of trust, Aretha felt her heart open wide, and she knew that, with friendship and hope, any darkness could bloom into light. When dawn broke over Virelia, Princess Aretha felt a flicker of nerves in her chest. Today was the day of the joint cultural banquet, where Earth's delegation and Virelia's council would dine together and celebrate their new friendship. Aretha had agreed to attend, but as she stood before her mirror-like window, she wondered if she could truly face so many eyes. Her reflection showed the same green-tinged skin she had always feared. Her gown, made of pearlescent silk woven in soft ivory threads, hung heavy on her shoulders. In the pale light, the fabric looked cold and plain, nothing like the glowing flowers that made her feel alive. She pressed her palms to her cheeks and sighed. At that moment, Maya Reyes entered quietly, carrying a small box wrapped in a ribbon of Virelian moss. Her silver tunic was crisp, and her stance was calm, as if she had mastered every challenge the universe could send. Seeing Aratha's hesitation, Maya crossed the room. "Princess," Maya said gently, "you will shine today." Aretha shook her head. "I feel like shadows cling to me. I am not ready for all those eyes." Maya set the box on a nearby table and knelt beside it. "Open this," she urged. With trembling fingers, Aretha untied the ribbon and lifted the lid. Inside lay a simple garland of moonlit blooms, Velora star saplings and Nerathia jasmines, woven together in a circle. The flowers glowed softly, casting gentle patterns on Aratha's gown. Maya reached out and placed the garland around Aratha's shoulders. "These are the blooms of unity," she explained. "They open only under both moons. When you wear them, remember that our worlds stand together." Aretha felt warmth spread from her shoulders down her spine. She tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear and studied Maya's face. "Thank you," she whispered. Maya rose and took Aratha's hand. "Now let us go." Together they walked through wide corridors lit by stained glass. Courtiers paused to bow, and Maya held Aretha's hand steady so she could meet each gaze with calm confidence. When they reached the grand hall, a long table stood beneath a vaulted ceiling painted with the image of Virelia's twin sons. Earth's Ambassador Tarun Sethi greeted them with a respectful bow. "Princess Aratha, Lieutenant Reyes," he said. "We are honored by your presence." Aratha inclined her head. The table was laden with dishes from both worlds. Earth fruits arranged alongside Virelian moss cakes, spiced broths swirling with bioluminescent flower petals, and delicate pastries shaped like star saplings. The air smelled of honeyed orchids and toasted grains. She seated herself beside Maya. For a moment silence settled as all guests waited for the princess to speak. Aratha felt every eye upon her, the skeptical elders, the eager young diplomats, the curious artists who painted murals in the palace halls. She felt the gauntlet of doubt tingle at her skin. She took a deep breath and recalled Maya's words. "Your beauty is the bridge between our worlds." She felt the garland's soft glow against her shoulders and imagined the lantern flowers in the greenhouse lighting her heart instead of shadows. Aratha placed her hands on the table and spoke in a clear, calm voice. "Esteemed guests from Virelia and Earth, we gather in peace and friendship. Tonight we share not only food and music but our hopes for a future where our peoples learn from one another." The hall grew quiet, attentive. Aratha continued. "Our worlds are different in look and in history, yet we all cherish life. We all seek beauty and purpose. When we honor those similarities, we find strength together." A soft murmur of agreement rose among the guests. Aratha felt her confidence grow with each nod. "Let us celebrate our differences," she said, smiling as she looked at Maya. "For it is our unique worlds that make this alliance special." Earth's ambassador stood and raised his glass. "To Princess Aratha," he proclaimed, "may her words guide our partnership." Guests rose and echoed the toast. Glasses chimed, and warm light danced across polished faces. Aratha felt her pulse steady as she sipped a sparkling beverage infused with jasmine petals. Dinner began. Musicians from Virelia played gentle melodies on stringed instruments, while Earth's artists performed a quiet dance that mimicked the rise and fall of Virelia's moons. Aratha watched Maya clap softly to the rhythm, her eyes bright with pride. During a lull between courses, Maya leaned in. "You were wonderful," she whispered. "Your words have set our worlds on a path of true friendship." Aratha's smile was small but real. "I owe it all to you," she replied. Later, as the dessert of sweet moss cakes and glowing fruit slices was served, Elder Veshra approached Aratha. The elder's eyes, rimmed with years of wisdom, glowed with approval. "Princess," Veshra said, placing a delicate hand on Aratha's arm, "you have shown us that beauty is not just in the skin we wear or the crowns we bear, but in the courage to bring people together." Aratha bowed her head in gratitude. "Thank you, Elder." When the banquet ended, guests spilled into the palace gardens. Fountains sparkled under lanterns shaped like flowers. The night air carried soft music and laughter. Aratha and Maya wandered the paths, hand in hand. "Look," Maya said, pointing to a hidden archway where Valoristar saplings formed a halo of luminescent blooms. "This place is for new beginnings." Aratha stepped beneath the arch. Its light fell on her face and she saw herself smiling without fear. She turned to Maya. "Tonight I do not see shadows," she said. "I only see light." Maya drew her close. "Your light will guide all who follow." They stood together under the arch. Two friends from different worlds joined by trust and hope. Behind them, the palace glowed like a beacon of unity, a testament to what could bloom when kindness and understanding led the way. And so, under Virelia's twin moons and Earth's distant stars, a radiant alliance was born, one that would shine across galaxies, not through force or conquest, but through friendship, beauty, and the simple power of two hearts opening to each other. When the first pale light of dawn crept over Virelia's eastern horizon, Princess Aratha stood on the palace terrace, her green skin catching the soft glow of the rising suns. Behind her, the twin spires of the palace gleamed like polished gemstones. Below, the newly opened moonlit garden stretched out, its paths lined with glowing blooms and tender seedlings. Aratha felt a gentle breeze on her face and closed her eyes, breathing in the sweet scent of night-blooming jasmines mixed with the fresh promise of morning. She remembered how not long ago she had hidden in shadows, convinced that her green complexion marked her as flawed. Yet now she stood tall, her shoulders framed by a garland of Valora star saplings, their soft light still pulsing against her ivory gown. At her side, Maya Reyes, her human friend and fellow guardian of this alliance, smiled as she watched the twin suns climb higher. "Good morning, Princess," Maya said, her voice bright with warmth. "The garden looks beautiful." Aratha turned to her friend and offered a genuine smile. "It is more beautiful than I ever imagined," she replied, "because it is ours, and because we planted it together." They walked down the broad marble steps toward the garden gates. Courtiers and gardeners were already at work among the flower beds. Verelian children ran ahead chasing motes of bioluminescent pollen that drifted like tiny stars. Aratha knelt to greet them. Their faces lit up at her gentle words, and she felt a rush of joy as they took turns, placing small potted seedlings into rich soil. Nearby, Maya handed each child a clay pot containing Earth's orchids. The children's eyes widened as they carefully buried the seeds among the glowing Verelian blossoms. One little girl looked up at Aratha with wide wonder. "Princess, do our flowers always shine like this?" she asked. Aratha chuckled softly. "They shine when they feel cared for," she answered. "Just like people." After the children scattered to other tasks, Aratha and Maya walked to the heart of the garden where a small fountain of Xynthia tears bubbled in a circular basin. The water glowed faint blue, reflecting the rising suns above. Aratha reached into the pool and lifted a single petal. It glimmered in her palm, its edges soft and warm. "Maya," she said, turning to her friend, "I want to thank you again. Without your kind words, I might still believe I was unworthy." Maya laid a hand over Aratha's. "You were always worthy," she replied. "You only needed someone to remind you of your light." Aratha pressed her hand to her chest. "You taught me that beauty is not only what I see in the mirror. It is found in friendship, courage, and compassion." She looked around at the blooming beds. "And in these flowers." A soft music drifted through the garden. The strings of Verelian lyres mingled with Earth's woodwind instruments. As the sounds wove through the petals, gardeners and diplomats alike paused their work to listen. Maya raised her hand in greeting to the musicians, and Aratha followed, nodding in thanks. They continued along a curved path to a newly planted archway of budding lantern flowers. Aratha remembered when she had first shown Maya these blooms and how Maya's praise had opened her heart. Now, under a canvas of daylight, she saw the arch in a new light, a symbol of the bridge they had built between worlds. Maya stopped beneath the arch and glanced up at Aratha. "Do you ever think you will leave Verelia, Princess?" she asked softly. "To visit Earth?" Aratha's eyes sparkled. "I would love to," she answered. "Earth's cities, its parks, even its gray buildings. I want to see it all, but I know I have duties here." She sighed but smiled. "Someday, when our people trust each other, fully I will visit, and I will bring stories of this garden with me." Maya nodded. "I will be your guide." Aratha reached out and gently took Maya's hand. "Then let us promise to always learn from each other." They stood together under the arch as the suns climbed higher, their light mingling with the soft glow of the lantern flowers. Below them, the garden hummed with life. Verelians and humans working side by side, planting seeds, sharing laughter, and forging memories. As midday approached, Aratha led Maya to the palace's grand library. Inside, rows of scrolls and data pads chronicled both worlds' histories. Aratha retrieved 2 blank volumes, the first pages of a new joint chronicle. She laid them on a carved wooden table and placed a quill beside them. "These books will record our shared stories," Aratha explained. "Your words and mine side by side." Maya picked up the quill and dipped it in ink. "I will write of Verelia's gardens and your kindness," she said, her handwriting neat and clear. Aratha smiled as she opened her volume. She wrote a single sentence on the first page. "Emerald skin and human friendship overcame doubt and fear. Maya glanced over. Perfect, she said. They closed the books together, sealing their words with a pressed moonlit bloom. Later, as evening neared, a gentle ceremony gathered in the garden. Delegations from Earth and Virelia exchanged gifts, seeds, paintings, woven fabrics, and simple earthstones painted green. Aratha accepted each offering with gratitude, and Maya did the same. The last gift was a small mirror framed in carved ivory. Earth's envoy handed it to Aratha. "Princess," he said, "we hope you always see the beauty we see in you." Aratha looked into the mirror. At first she saw only her green skin and worried eyes. Then she lifted her head and remembered her journey. The whispered praise under moonlight, the shared laughter among flowers, the confidence she found in Maya's kindness. She saw a young woman who had grown strong and radiant, a true bridge between worlds. She returned the mirror to the envoy with a bright smile. "Thank you," she replied. "This will remind me of all I have learned." As night fell and lanterns were lit, Aratha and Maya walked one last time through the garden. The flowers glowed softly under the twin moons, reflecting their journey from doubt into light. Aratha paused beneath the central arch and looked at Maya with gratitude. "Thank you," she said simply. Maya returned her gaze. "No, Princess, thank you." They embraced under the arch, two friends whose bond had changed two worlds. Above them the moon shone like watchful guardians. Below them, the garden thrived as a living testament to what kindness, trust, and friendship could achieve. And, as they stood there together, the dawn of a new era truly began, one where Virelia and Earth would walk hand in hand into a shared future, guided by the simple truth that every soul, no matter how different, can shine beautiful and bright.